Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Wells Funhouse channel. Uh, just making a video in reference to all of the chaos going on right now around this country. In reference to the death of Mr. George Floyd. First, I want to say my condolences go out to Mr. Floyd's mother, his brother, his family. Um, that should have never happened. But we know that this only sets us back to 1968 after the death of Dr. King. Let me rephrase that, the murder of Dr. King. We know that man was murdered because he went to do what any normal person that wants to be treated equally would do, is you use your voice and your platform uh, and ask for equal rights. We as black people shouldn't have to ask for something that we are so deserving of. Our ancestors were lynched. See, a lot of people look at videos like mine and other countless videos before mine, and the atrocities doesn't happen over 400 years with black people being slaves, and they say stuff like that was in the past. It's a sad thing when you just blind and naive, when you don't realize that when you put a knee on the back of a man's neck, they did that to our ancestors. And the founder of the alt-right movement, this racist white man who told Charles Barkley that white people were just better at slavery than our own ancestors were, with a smile on his face. Well, that term, not the actual term, but the tactic that the white officer Chavin, whatever his name was, used on Mr. Floyd, was a thing they did back in the 1800s, 1900s, when you would get the biggest slave. I'm 6'3", about 255 pounds. I'm a big guy. They would take a man my size, the leader of this tribe. They would chain him up with his hands behind his back, shackle his feet, and bend him over a log with his rear up in the air, with his face low to the ground. Another one of the slave masters would put his knee on the back of this man's neck. And then what happened next was he got sodomized. They call that buck breaking. You're doing that. You did that to Mr. Floyd with your hands in your pocket. You slowly killed him, and now I'm hearing that the prosecution or the coroners or whoever it is looked at this man's body, had the audacity to say that asphyxiation was not his means of death, that he had heart issues. Okay, let me say this, and I thank God that I don't curse, but see this shirt, what it says? That's what the coroner need. Whoever came up with asphyxiation wasn't his death, that's what you need. See, I might not have a degree in like a doctorate in medicine, or I'm not a big time politician. I am a preacher. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. And I'm a man of all that. And I'm a black man. And I'm a man with a lot of common sense. I don't have to curse and use profanity to tell you crazy. It's all get out. If you think that man's knee on that George Floyd's neck wasn't an attribution, wasn't a tribute to his death, suffocating a man slowly will cause him to have a heart attack. I don't care what you say. You took this man's life. And Mrs. Floyd, and to Mr. Floyd's wife, you keep pushing this. You push it with everything you have. Black people, what we have to do and what we don't have to do. What we have to do is we have to stand in solidarity with our white counterparts who are in these marches just as big as with us, with our Mexican counterparts who are in these marches. You looters, You violators of the law, the ones setting cars on fire, going in these stores, smashing and grabbing here in the plaza, in Kansas City, in Houston, in Baltimore, in Minnesota. Stop it. You are killing our voices. You are killing what we're trying to do. You're stealing this man's life. You've taken the attention from Mr. Floyd to vandalism and rioting and looting. Stop it. God is not pleased. He's not happy. And I guarantee you, George Floyd's mother, his father, and his mother, rest her soul. But to the family that is still living, you're not honoring them. You're desecrating the brother's death. Stephen Jackson, I applaud you, my brother, because he looked just like you. I understand why you called him your twin. Y'all look like y'all could have been biological brothers. My heart goes out to any and everybody that knew Mr. Floyd. But we see in America how they do black people different. The DC sniper was a Vietnam veteran who they said that he was having military flashbacks. He actually thought he was on the battlefield, but what happened to him? Because he was black, he was tried as a sane man who shoots out of the trunk of a car. He was tried as a sane man, sentenced to death, and they killed him really quick. We have so many examples. Graves, Tamir Rice, a baby, what was he, 11, 12? And you roll up on him and shoot him. And the officer that showed up on that still has not been tried. He's not been convicted. You rolled up on a little kid in a park with a gun that had an orange cap in the front of it because some white woman, old white lady, said that there was a man in the park with a gun. Any idiot could see that was a little kid with a play gun. You pulled right up on him within 5 feet and you shot him at point blank range. Then threw his sister up against the car and in the back seat of the car, and yet was not convicted. Mr. Graves, the I Can't Breathe, who was accused of selling cigarettes, lost his life. And every EMT, every police officer that was on the scene, if they can find them in this video, you family members, friends, go to Congress, press that these people are convicted. This violence will not stop. And no, I'm not advocating it. I'm just speaking the truth. They're not going to stop until you do something right. The police system needs to be revamped. Our judicial system needs to be revamped. These people, a lot of our black men in jail, shouldn't even be there. Chavin is given third-degree murder and manslaughter. Let any of us go out there and do. Let a black officer do what he did. He's going to get first or second degree. The family of George Floyd, the family of Graves, the family of Tamir Rice, the family of Trayvon Martin, all of these, even men that I don't even remember that were killed senselessly by police officers, white police officers, who were given a slap on the wrist, and where the police union took these people and said it was okay. Fight for those officers' pensions to go to your family. That is what needs to happen. When an officer is found hiding body cam footage, when they're found that they corroborate stories and lie, which is called perjury in the court of law. Yes, I'm a law student. When it is found that they deliberately lie, when it is found that they violate the law, they don't uphold the Constitution, when they don't protect and serve, these officers it shouldn't take 4 days to arrest them, strip them of their rights in front of everybody, strip them of their uniform, and then give that pension, especially if it deals in loss of life, like Laquan McDonald, shot 16 times by a white officer, and this white officer got 7.5 years. Who does that? They had some young men here in Shawnee, Kansas, a few years ago. I think it was 3 of them, went to a gun store. They attempted to rob a gun store, apparently dealing with some kind of whatever, to make some young men under 20 try to rob a gun store. They're all in prison. Courts found them sane. I find that crazy. going to a gun store to try to rob a gun store, and the gun owner is armed. But Dylan White can go into a church where there's no weapons, shoot and kill 9 African Americans, and be found insane to some level of degree. You take him to McDonald's or Burger King, wherever you took him, you cuff him from the front, not the back. You don't even rough him up none. Because he's white. The shooter at Batman Returns, redhead white boy, or white man, however you want to call him, they killed all them people. Premeditated his attack on Facebook. You found him insane. He hasn't spent one day in prison. But any other black person that does a crime like that, y'all look at us as monkeys. You look at us as animals. You label us as thugs. Even our president, Donald J. Trump, called these people thugs. You quick to send the military. And I get why you're doing it to a point. Because some people are tearing up the city. But get on national TV, Mr. Trump, and denounce the death of George Floyd wholeheartedly. Denounce it. Tell our African American people that you stand in solidarity with us, but ask the black public to calm down, and you will promise them justice. Third-degree murder on an officer is just a slap on the wrist. Some people look at it maybe 35 years. He didn't get 35 years. We all know he's not going to get 35 years. The individual known as Jared from Subway, he raped several minors. He was only given 8 or 9 years in prison. He's probably out now on good behavior. The Larry Nassau, the doctor from the Olympics that raped over 150 girls, or molested, however you want to call it, he got less time than he deserved. It's just all too many times we see that. We see white officers planting drugs. I think it was in Harlem or somewhere. There's a video on YouTube where a white officer, him and his colleagues they stopped a black man. It looked like they was on the side of a building where you put like old mattresses and crap like that at. And one of his own colleagues busted him planting drugs to try to get a charge on this black man who evidently hadn't done nothing. But yet, all in our country too many times, that officer keeps his job. The Asian guy that was with Chavin, whatever this punk's name is, and the other officers that was kneeling on him. Why are they not in jail? These men need to be in jail. And Chavin is in protective custody, if y'all didn't know it. He's not in the jail. He's in protective custody. They're not going to give that to us. So again, my plea goes out to these governors, the mayors, senators, both Democrat and Republican, to the president and the vice president. We need sweeping, and I mean sweeping changes. Why is our police force in this country predominantly white? Who teaches a tactic of dropping a knee in a man's back? Who teaches a tactic of ganging up on one man once you get him to the ground? The other white officers that show up on the scene, especially when there's a black male, they run in. And if you think I'm lying, go back and look at these videos. They run in, they dive on him just to be on camera showing that they got another, excuse my language, another nigga in chains. And I hate that word. It's like they love putting black folk in chains. They love exerting the most pressure on a black man. And to the family of Mr. Floyd, I want you to go back, and as much as it's going to hurt, look at the new footage that they put out on Mr. George Floyd, where they lied and said that your brother And I'm speaking to the brother of Mr. Floyd. They said your brother was resisting. He's in the driver's seat. There's another black male in red and white in the front passenger, and there's a black female in the back passenger seat. When the light-skinned African-American officer who's low, has bald head, and there's a white male, neither one of these guys are wearing masks. They both go to the driver's side first. Then one of them split off and go to the passenger side. He's speaking to the guy in the front seat, giving orders or whatever. They both get out of the car. They go to the wall. Mr. Floyd is over on the driver's side. They immediately cuffed him. Now, apparently, this was over a $10 or $20 supposedly counterfeit bill. When they cuffed your brother, look at the force that they're exerting on his wrist. He's already cuffed. He's trying to walk. The black officer is grabbing, I want to say, his left wrist. He's already got him by the arm. He's cuffed, and he takes that left wrist and he twists it. You'll watch your brother turn around like, ow, what are you doing? He's in pain. That is what he did to cause your brother to look as though he was resisting. I worked in a field where I used handcuffs and a badge and a gun and things like that. No, I wasn't an officer, but I was law enforcement because I worked as private security. I still consider law enforcement. And I've dealt right alongside of the police. I've dealt with individuals, and I have cuffed people, but never, ever did I do that to them. Once they complied, because you only have them put their fingers, interlace their hands behind their back, you detain them, and if they're not fighting, you are supposed to treat them humanly and as humane as possible, because I wouldn't want nobody treating me that way, but they didn't treat your brother that way. When they grabbed your brother, he exerted so much force on his wrist. When your brother sat on the ground, you watch your brother drop his head to his knee. He's already hurting. He's giving him some kind of directive. You need to ask for this body cam because he's got audio. Whatever he was saying to your brother, he was inciting him and disrespecting him. He reached down, him and the other officer, they pick your brother up, and once again, he goes to wrenching on your brother's wrist. And they take him across the street. And if you look at this video, look at it close. When they get him way across the street, thinking out of the eyes of the camera, they roughing him up. And that's when that footage cuts. That body cam footage that they have on is going to show you exactly what happened to your brother. They beat him up. More than likely, they roughed him up and he wasn't resisting. You can't twist somebody's wrist in them cuffs and they not tense up. It is an automatic reflex because the cuffs bite down on your wrist portion, like right in here, right on that side. If you squeeze that too tight with them cuffs and you rotate that arm, or you grab those cuffs and you rotate them, that sends an excruciating pain through your body, which calls for an involuntary response of tenseness to try and protect that limb. Push for their pensions. Push for these crooked cops' pension. But if you can at all, black people who ever see this video, and Mr. Trump, I honestly, and I'll probably draw a little flack from this, for a while I actually thought, and I still think, you're a pretty good president. But Mr. Trump, the military, sending them there, and I am prior service, sending them there is going to give the white people relief because they want their businesses protected, and as well they should be, because no one should be tearing up property to voice their opinion. But when you're tired, and these are young people, these are not people my age, these are these young people who are finally experiencing all kinds of hell from white officers. Mr. Trump sending the military is going to cause a bigger problem. Yes, we want to stop further damage. We want to stop the further fires and looting. And anybody, like I said, that's doing looting, setting cars on fire and trash cans, you're wrong. But you police officers who think you're slick, hiding among these public, hiding among the thousands of people that are demonstrating, cutting out triangles and squares in these windows, and then trying to pin it on these rioters or these peaceful protesters, you're wrong. Shooting rubber bullets, you hit a woman in the eye and in the forehead with a rubber bullet, you think that's cool. Now, it's not right by any means. It's also not right to get hit with a frozen bottle of water or a rock, but they're angry. And it's all coming off because the police union is protecting the other three. You even protected Mr. Shaven. Should have convicted him with first-degree murder. That's what it is. And he was proud of what he did. And you better be thanking God, Mr. Chavin, that I wasn't nowhere around. You and the Asian guy would have caught hands. I promise you, I would have jumped on one of you. You would have had to shoot me. Ain't no way as a soldier, as a father, and as a black man with common sense to know when someone's abusing power. I would have stopped you. You would have probably tased me or tried to shoot me. I didn't care. You wouldn't have killed that black man on my watch. Now go with any one of you other African Americans. You see an officer doing something like that, when his friends don't do nothing, make him get you. Stop him. That's not right. Now, I'm not telling you to hurt police. What I am telling you is when they are deliberately violating the law, they're not acting as a police officer. They're an assassin. And you have a right to form a citizen's arrest. They can't shoot all of you. They're not going to. You tell them we're invoking citizen's arrest to get off of it. And then call the police on them. Tell them if they don't get somebody there in the next 5 minutes, they're going to be missing some officers because you're going to attempt to perform a citizen's arrest, and whatever happens, happens. But to the family of George Floyd, to all black people who've lost daughters and sons to senseless police violence, and while I'm thinking of it, there's a video floating around on YouTube within the last 2 days. There are National Guardsmen and police coming down the street, a bunch of them. And I think it's in Minnesota. They're yelling, "Get in the house, get in the house." And there was a pair of black women standing on their own front porch. Police turned and fired live rounds directly at them to make them go in the house. Somebody needs to address that. You need to find that officer, and you better fire him. You better fire him. Because this is only going to beget violence from black people. You shoot at them, they're going to end up shooting back. Military presence is good, but it's bad at the same time. Because like I said, white people want the military there. Police want more military there because the military, they know, is going to push harder than them. But you can't keep pushing because they're going to push back. The only thing that's going to stop this is conviction. Arrest and conviction. And they promise. See, the Black Lives Matter leaders, these black activists, the ones that are leading these peaceful, and I mean peaceful protests, not these outsiders, like the one that shook the gate at somebody's courthouse. I think it was in Baltimore. The cop walked up to the gate and he sprayed something in his face. I'm not talking to you because you are the reason why we have a National Guard now. You're the reason why these cops are shooting rubber bullets. You need to go home. But you peaceful protesters, you keep at it. Link arms. March in rows, 20, 30 across. And don't deviate. Go in the same direction. Sit on the ground. Surround whatever you're going to surround. You don't have to throw a brick. You don't have to throw a bomb, a Molotov. Stand there. Make them move you. Because see, if you're not armed and you with these backpacks, we know what's in them. I know what's in them. You have bricks and bottles of pee and urine or whatever you want to call it. You have stuff in them backpacks. They're heavy. I'm a soldier. I'm telling you, I know what a weighed down backpack looks like. You're not passing out water. You got weapons in there. And all you're going to do is you're going to get your fellow peaceful protesters killed or hurt. Stop taking this march and defiling this march. What's going on all across the United States, even here in Kansas City? You wait till it get dark and you loot and you rob. And again, I get it. You're angry. Use this platform for good. Speak out in reference to George Floyd. Not for your own selves. Not to gain the loot. Not to pillage. You're tearing our cities up. You're tearing up your own communities. They're not going to fix that stuff. They're going to leave it. Before I sign off, I just want to again say my condolences go out to Mr. Floyd's family. The peaceful protest is what we need. But my plea goes to President Trump, Pelosi, any Democrat or Republican, the governors and mayors, the chiefs of police, the police unions, stop this violence. And I'm not talking with the military. Y'all need to change some stuff. Y'all need to change it right now. Because I'm a preacher. I'm a real preacher. I'm a real man of God. And I'm letting you know this is not going to go away just by sending in the military. It's not going to go away just by arresting one officer. Virginia had 72 cops on some racist website. Any one of those officers that made a racist slur or said something out of context that would defile or put a bad image on that Virginia Police Department, all 72 should have been fired. But what happened? You fired 13, which those 13 have got a good chance of getting their job back through arbitration. There are over 3,500 officers, from what I know, that are under investigation on those racist websites. You haven't fired them, though, because they're too good for you to fire. You have a lot of black men, black women, Hispanic men and women that want those jobs. We'll do a better job than what you have on the force now. But you don't want us there because America has a white face. You don't want good officers. You want strong arms that can break up people and lie on them and use obstruction and resisting and get away with it. You don't want people that are from the neighborhoods, people that can see and understand what's going on. So again, I call on our people in positions of power. Don't just say you're going to do something. Mean it. Hold news conferences. Reach out to these people and help us. We're tired of dying in the streets. We're tired. That's my time. Again, this is the Wells Fun Channel. Normally my videos I try to post are funny videos. But we have a pandemic going on. And as you see, I'm on my back porch. We have a pandemic. We have hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Millions of people are sick all around the world. And it almost looks like you're using this to cover what's really going on. It's almost like it's a setup. Coronavirus, then rioting, martial law. Is that next? I don't know. But y'all need to cut this out. Y'all need to fix this before it gets too bad. It's already bad now, but it can get way worse. They can go from throwing bottles to using weapons. Only time will tell and only God knows. So please, those of you that look at this video, if you have anything that I missed, please press the like and subscribe button. Leave me some comments. We need some answers to this. We need an end to this. God bless.